But didn't you two get a little bit of a chill with the judge being so vehement and also, by the way, so preachy? I mean, really, do I want to hear from a judge about the doctor-patient relationship and good medical practice? Is a criminal judge is going to talk about that? Didn't bother you?
Yeah, it bothered me some, but a lot of stuff was unfortunately true. He was, very flagrant in all the mistakes he made, and he wanted to set an example to Conrad Murray.
Setting an example doesn't bother you at all? That doesn't send a little bit of a chill down your spine about, listen, I'll take that judge down to some pill mills down in Florida and show lots of medicine being practiced like that in people who feel very justified in practicing that kind of medicine.
Yeah, I see what your point is, but it shouldn't be justified. And we need to be on notice as physicians that we need to practice within the standard of care and try and help our patients to the very, at the very least.
I'll tell you, every time I see somebody really get into trouble, a doctor, is when they don't have proper training on addiction and they get involved with a drug addict and don't know it. They get into that dance and they get sucked into the vortex.
So you don't have some sympathy, so you have some sympathy for Dr. Murray a lot.
I have sympathy for him. I don't think it's okay. I don't think it's okay at all. But I don't want to. What I don't like is blaming the victim. Number one, I don't think it's okay to say. This was just, it was awful. It was great, let's face it. But he got sucked in way over his head, and other doctors are doing the same. And we have an obligation as a medical profession to look at that issue, is my point. But, Garo, you made a point earlier, is that the judge made a big issue about how he showed no remorse and didn't feel guilty for what he had done. Wouldn't that have a problem for him, an appeal, if he had done that?
That's correct. I think anytime there's appellate remedies that are being explored, and I'm sure Nareg and his team are exploring those, to have your client make a statement of allocution or any kind of a showing of remorse really defeats the purpose of the appellate process.
So the judge coming up and saying that he should have been showing more remorse and feelings of guilt, you might have been coaching him not to do that.
Well, I didn't even have to coach him. Dr. Murray's been adamant from the very beginning as to what occurred on June 25th. And he's always said he's loved Mr. Jackson and he would never do anything that would hurt Mr. Jackson.
Yeah, no, now, not intentionally.
Right, but as far as getting out there and apologizing or accepting responsibility like the judge would have liked, he was adamant that he was not going to do that.
Oh, what do you think about that?
I think we should absolutely accept our mistake. I mean, there's clear errors that he made, and he has to realize it, and that he got himself in trouble by not recognizing it as an addict.
That's the arrogance again.
And it just no. Forgive me, gentlemen. Accepting responsibility is one thing in the outside world, but in a criminal courtroom, when you accept responsibility, you're accepting the guilty verdict.
Right.
Okay, and there's a big difference between one and the other.
So you would advise him not to do that?
Absolutely.
You would advise
not
him
only that, I feel compelled to say that I too read Nareg's brief. It is a brilliantly written brief.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And
it's quite a story.
The oral argument of his colleague, co-counsel, Mr. Chernoff, was right on point. You took away a 56 or 58-year-old man's 56 years of life, and you dumped it in the toilet by saying, well, this is a menace to society, he's a danger to community. Nonsense. At most, after reading this brief, I thought that the judge would not impose anything greater than the midterm of 3 years, which would still be a significant sentence.
And Nareg, that would be the usual thing, would it not? That they choose the middle ground unless there's some extreme circumstance. Is this judge out of line here? Is that
Absolutely. I mean, the upper term is usually for the most heinous offenses, or for gang members, or for someone with a prior criminal record, or when you have a incident with physical violence, or we have an incident with weapons.
Okay, so I'm Dr. Murray. I'm Dr. Murray. Nareg, I'm devastated. I thought I trusted you guys. This was, what do you tell him? What do you tell me, Conrad Murray?
Well, Dr. Murray, ever since the conviction, he's clearly disappointed with the jury's findings. He's clearly disappointed with the sentencing today. But he has always been adamant as far as his legal team goes. He's very proud and very happy with the defense that he got.
So he's not angry with you guys?
Absolutely
But how about
his And as far as the sentencing memoranda goes, I'd like to say it was a team effort. All the defense team got together and we all did a...
your name was first on the signature, though. I saw that.
You.
But
it was the only signature.
I noticed that, yes. How is Conrad Murray doing today?
Well, he's doing the best under the circumstances. Like I said, he's... disappointed
what about
with the judge's sentencing, but he wasn't surprised.
What about this? Oh, that's interesting, because he was surprised at first, and now he's not surprised. So he knew this judge had a thing.
Well, you know, Dr. Murray always hopes for the best,
Yeah.
But we were expecting the worst. I think the judge has made it clear from his rulings earlier on, from remanding Dr. Murray
Yeah,
conviction.
that he was
we
surprised
knew
at.
what his feelings and
All
his
right.
attitude was towards
What
Dr.
about
Murray.
this reality show thing you guys, that the judge brought up, this documentary?
Well, you know what? I don't really feel comfortable commenting on that. That was all done prior to my involvement in this case, and I had absolutely no role
Was this the
in
British
that.
documentary? Is that one?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. Alon, we're the doctors on the panel. What are we to do with all this? Where does this go? I mean, it's kind of a sad day that our profession is being, in a way I'm encouraged.
It's unfortunate because it shows a one bad apple,
Yeah.
I think. But overall, I think medicine is a great profession. We mostly are ethical and trying to do the right thing. And the judge was making an example of this one doctor that we all need to practice within the standard of care and good medicine. And I think that in general,